How many discounts does USAA Auto Insurance offer? Too many to say here. Multi-vehicle discount, safe driver discount, new vehicle discount, storage discount, legacy.
How many discounts will you stack up? Visit USAA.com/auto discounts. Restrictions apply.
Meet the most capable CRV Honda has ever dreamed of. The all-new CRV Trail Sport Hybrid. With all-terrain tires and available enhanced traction control, it's built for wherever the day takes you. Heated front seats and a heated steering wheel, ideal for winter drives and crisp early starts. And with generous cargo space, it's ready for big gear and even bigger getaways. The CRV Trail Sport Hybrid. Learn more at honda.com/CRV.
Superman's watching the skies for human traffic. I'm Van Connor.
And I'm Adam Ball, and this is Off Screen, your 7-day guide to everything movies.
Boom. Groovy.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Off Screen. We have got loads of movies to cover this week. As you might have figured from Van's little intro there, we are going to be hearing from Van about the new Superman movie, which is in cinemas from today. We've got Human Traffic to look at, which of course is... So that's an older movie, obviously, but it's been remade, right?
No, it's been remastered into 4K. The whole thing is it's a movie of its time that it's now been cleaned up. It's given the 4K transfer, the digital sound remixing, which for that film is a very specific thing, which neither of us considered before we started watching it. So it's the same old movie with a paint job.
Excellent. Well, we'll chat about that in a bit because there's a bit of a funny story to go alongside Human Traffic this week as well from myself and Van. But we're going to look at Watch the Skies first as far as our new movies go. But before that, as always, let's dive into the box office top 10 of the week. At number 10, The Ballad of Wallace Island. So that's been 6 weeks now, and it's not really done that well.
Yeah.
It's not done that great.
Well, I mean, by UK standards, bear in mind our box office is not that big.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, comparative to the American box office, like the number of active cinemas in the UK is a fraction of the, I think it's 3,000 or something that make up the continental United States. Whereas we're in the several hundred at best kind of region. So we can't, the facility simply isn't there for us to make anywhere near the same money as the Americans. But 6 weeks for a movie that really had no marketing to speak of and has so far taken in like just under 1.7 million quid. That's not bad. There are no stars in this. Like, do you really think you could put Carey Mulligan's name above a movie title and sell it? Like, that's never going to happen. But 1.7 mil, it's not a bad little film. But
I think I was probably comparing it to the massive monster that is Lilo and Stitch, which we'll get to in a little bit, which is quite a lot as far as money goes. Very different
thing, though, isn't it, as well? Because, again, no one takes just one kid to a kids' movie. You know what I mean? You're not going to take just your son to a family film at the cinema. You will take all of the kids. It tends to be a sort of, we'll just take, the cousins and the siblings and the friends. That's how it always goes with kids' movies. So they just make so much more as a result.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it that way, actually, but you're right. Rather than 1 or 2 tickets where it would ordinarily be for a movie, you're looking at 4, 5, 6 and more. So, all right, well, that's number 10. At number 9, we've not covered this. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Sardar G3.
Sardar G3.
Yeah.
I didn't see Sardar G1 or Sardar G2, so I'm unqualified to comment on this one. I have no idea what it is. I'm not going to lie. I have no idea what it is. And that's not my own ignorance. It's just that they really haven't bothered like marketing this to us, like sending us press releases or anything like that. I have no idea what this is from a critic standpoint. I do, however, know about number 8, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, which I think everyone must have seen by now. Like, surely. It's been out for 8 weeks. It's made just under 26 million quid. We all had a good time with it for 5 minutes. And, 8 weeks, it's what, 4 weeks away now from going to streaming? Or has he managed to extend it to 6 months again? I don't know. But, it's a Tom Cruise vehicle, so they're very tight about how soon they rushed out to streaming. Like I say, that is a contractual thing he has now. Like, it's a very big deal with Tom Cruise. And not the best Mission Impossible, not the worst, but, I'm quite harsh on the first one, though. to be fair. I'm harsh on the De Palma one, the very first Mission Impossible. I'm also conversely quite light on Mission Impossible 2, which I think is an unsung banger. That's the John Woo one, where they go to Australia and he does all the motorbike stunts.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that
Limp
one, actually.
Bizkit one. The one with the Limp Bizkit song. All right, let's call it what it is.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
number 7. I'm shocked that this is making as little money as it is. Mithrigan 2.0, Megan 2.0, is on its second week of release. It has not pulled in £1 million yet. And given the financial juggernaut the first one was, this is kind of surprising. Obviously, we talked last week about Jason Blum going on The Town and doing a post-mortem on it himself, like addressing, look, it didn't catch on, this is why we think. And that has been interesting. I don't think that we've seen the last of Megan, though. I think there will be a Megan 3. I think it will be made for even cheaper, and I think it will go back to basics horror.
Would that be then Mithrigan 3?
Mithrigan 3! Yeah, Mithrigan 3, I know. If you want to be really cheeky, be like Mithrigan 2.5 or something like that. Or Mithrigan Upgrade, something like that.
See, that would be a great title. I agree, yeah.
It would be.
Like
And cross it over with the actual Blumhouse Upgrade movie, which I think I made you watch a couple of years ago.
You did.
Did I make you watch that? Did you love it?
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I thought it was awesome.
It's a better version of the remake of RoboCop, right? It's a
Agreed,
better version of the 2014 RoboCop.
Not better than the original RoboCop, though.
Nothing's better than the original RoboCop.
Good.
We both know this. I'm talking silly.
I'm glad we agree on that. I'm glad we agree.
Neither of us are insane. Let's not go there.
All right, at number 6, as I mentioned, Lilo and Stitch, 8 weeks, over 30, well, nearly 36 million quid taken. Wow.
Like we say, though, it's taking all the kids. It's the fact that kids will go on repeat visits. It has been out during a school holiday, which is also factored into it. We are, about 2 weeks off another school holiday, off the summer break really kicking in. So Lilo and Stitch has got a lot of money yet to make, because it will make a whole new swing of cash in about 2 weeks' time. Ditto for How to Train Your Dragon as well. That will see an upswing.
Where's the benchmark then for someone who isn't as filmy as you? Where's the benchmark at what point where you'd go, do you know what? That has smashed the UK box office. What kind of amount are you talking here, really?
It depends on... I'm not sure what the actual record is for the UK box office now that you mention it. I don't know that offhand. What is the actual record? But it's one of those things where when a movie makes significant money, it sticks out like a sore thumb. You looking at this sheet immediately spotted Lilo and Stitch because it is so much more than so many of the other things on there. There's literally nothing else. Mission Impossible, by virtue of how long it's been out, Mission Impossible is the same length of time in cinemas as Lilo and Stitch, and there's £10 million difference between the two, like minimum. It's actually closer to £12 million difference between Lilo and Stitch in like place number 1 and then Mission Impossible. And the difference there, very simply, is kids. It's very simply kids. And like I said to you, if you're going to take your own son, odds are you're going to phone round all of the other parents or, your siblings or whatever and be like, hey, I'm taking my kid to the movie. Do you want me to take yours while I'm at it? Kind of thing. It becomes like that. I'm literally referencing my own childhood as I do this. I'm not sure if this is that normal, but this is how we went to movies when I was a kid.
Done some research while you've been chatting. The highest grossing film at the UK box office is apparently Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Doesn't shock me, actually.
It doesn't say... 161 million. Wow.
That's very good. But again, you look at that, that may as well be a family film. Star Wars. That may as well. So the same kind of rules apply with that because Star Wars is very family friendly. Maybe not that one. It's not Jedi, admittedly, but still. I'll breeze through these real quick for us. We'll be down to Watch the Skies. Number 5, Elio. 3 weeks on release, just over £3 million. What a crying shame, because I bloody loved Elio. What a sweet little movie that was.
Only because he looks like you.
No, I just think it's a really lovely film. Number 4, and I know you saw this in 4DX, no less, 28 years later, £12.5 million. You are so Team 28, aren't you?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Honestly, I'm so excited for the next 2. I really am.
Did you like the sort of without giving any specific details? Did you like the little Teletubbies nod on the end?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very thought provoking in many ways. That's all I'll say.
It is. Number 3, and I really need to know if you've made your son watch this yet. How to Train Your Dragon, the live action one. Obviously, I was talking about the animated one for him. A month on release, just over £18 million. Sequel already announced. I would imagine we'll get the threequel as well. This brand is going nowhere. It's too beloved. Did you make Albert watch the animated original yet?
Not yet. It's on the list of movies to watch when the weather's not nice, because unfortunately my son will not stay indoors when the sun's out. He's out the back, he's in the front, he's all over the shop.
He's literally the opposite of me as a child. I never want to go outside. I just wanted the TV. Number 2, 3 weeks on release, just under £13 million banked, just over 3 last weekend alone. It's F1. Joseph Kosinski directing, Brad Pitt starring, and what a film. Oh, that is capital C cinema right there. This is popcorn pounding, just blockbuster awesomeness. On 4 wheels, no less. I bloody love this one. Did you have an inkling to go and see this one? Was this something that appealed to you?
Oh, I massively want to see it. I just literally haven't managed to fit it into my schedule. Like, the last gap I had was when I went to see 28 Years Later. So it's just not a thing at the moment, but it's my top movie to see.
To that, I know what big Top Gun Maverick fan you were, so I know you would enjoy this for a fact. Number 1, God help us, Jurassic World Rebirth, 2nd week of release because it opened on a Wednesday. Was it Wednesday or a Monday? So it counts as 2 weeks. £12.5 million banked, and yeah, look, it exists. So it's the 7th one of these. No one's expecting film number 7 in any franchise to be that good. I mean, the 5th one of these, Fallen Kingdom, wasn't particularly that good. I mean, especially if you stack it. The only other exception I can find to this rule, by the way, is the Fast and Furious, where film number 5 was like the best one of the series. And then they kept a high watermark from there. Jurassic World is not the Fast and Furious, though. It's neither fast nor furious. But I thought it was fine, but it was just a kind of greatest hits hodgepodge. Anyway, let's talk about something more fun, because we have got a review to get through within the next couple of minutes. A bit of funny story for this one for you. I thought this was a different movie to what it actually is. And the funniest part about this is the link that's in our script takes you to the alternate movie, takes you to the animated Sean Bean voiced movie that I thought we were actually talking about.
Well, that's what I thought we were talking about. That's what's loaded in front of me right now.
No, it is not that at all. Right, so I will. The weirdest thing about this one is this is a Swedish movie. Its original title translates to UFO Sweden, and is about a young woman who, without IMDb, there we are, without IMDb telling me, it doesn't specifically, seems to center around a sort of 15, 16-year-old girl whose UFO nut father has gone missing in years previous, and his disappearance has been something of a mystery to her, and she gets involved with this local, hacktivist, kind of eccentric conspiracy theorist group called UFO Sweden, and sets out to try basically solve the mystery of her father, whilst also putting herself in the crosshairs of government agents with their own alien secrets to keep. This is basically Stranger Things as a movie. Have a listen to this clip.
This facility, why is it on the map?
Why did you think, Leonard? To keep your gang of UFO fanatics away.
Or maybe you don't want people to know what kind of research you do up here.
Ridiculous.
You're also searching, aren't you? You knew that Uno and I were onto something big. So you betrayed me to make the discovery yourself. Isn't that right, Kiki?
SMHI makes scientifically based forecasts of weather and climate.
It's the right decision, then let it go.
I've got to ask, why is it not in their native language?
Actually, that is a kind of a weird aesthetic choice. Yes, the entire movie is in English. I did think this was odd as well. I'm not especially complaining, but I did have to check, wait, have they dubbed this and just not told me? Because I'm watching this on an official screener link. So, this has come from the studio, so it's obviously in the version it's intended to be. And yes, it is in English. It's not been dubbed. The actors are speaking English natively. I'll be honest with you, I thought this was infinitely better than anything I've ever seen of Stranger Things. I've only ever seen the first 2 seasons of Stranger Things. I know this is kind of a controversial take, but I do not get the Stranger Things hype. I don't get. I would rather just watch The Goonies again. Like, can I not just watch The Goonies and just remember it like it was? Do I really need a tribute, like a Gen Z tribute to The Goonies that seems to go on and never end? But, yeah. So, anyway, this is a much more confined version of this. You know that old saying that's come about in the last couple of years? This meeting could have been an email. People say about, this meeting could have been an email. I feel that way about streaming shows a lot of the time. Like, this series could have been a movie. Famously, Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, for instance. Like, why was this not a movie? This was way better off as a movie. I feel that way about Stranger Things. And the weird part is, if you did it with Stranger Things, this is what you'd get. This is the show. This is the movie you'd get if they just cut out all the nonsense and just condensed Stranger Things into a movie. You'd basically get this. I thought this was actually quite good. Directed with a real sort of propulsion, some movement and energy from Victor Donnell, whose work I didn't really know. Victor Donnell has both directed and co-written this. In the lead is Inez Del Torhog, I believe is how you pronounce her name, and you could hear Vesper Barkselius, I think, in the clip as well. And it's really their show to run. For the longest time, it feels like it's meandering, but when it gets there, you are fully invested and you go with it. And I found myself genuinely sitting there watching this at like 9 o'clock in the morning, heat baked from the temperature outside. Just sat there in my boxer shorts on the couch, like, this is actually really good. Yeah, I'm vibing with this. So I recommend checking this out. Even though it's marketed as a Swedish film, it is in English, as you point out. So give this one a look.
Worth knowing. So if you want to check it out, you can, because Watch the Skies is in cinemas from today. Right, next then, we'll see what Van thought to the big movie of the week, Superman. We'll find out next.
When you want to grow your list size, pop up like it's hot, pop up like it's hot, pop up like it's hot. And when you gotta boost your revenue, pop up like it's hot, hey, pop up like it's hot, pop up like it's hot. Pick your favorite template, you can tailor to your brand. They're MailChimp-erific, you're gonna be a fan. MailChimp your marketing with our new customizable pop-ups.
Hey, it's Paris. You know I love sparkly things, right? Like stars. Duh. And thanks to Hilton and AutoCamp, I just slept under them. Picture me, serving looks by the fire outside my luxurious Airstream, making s'mores with the kids, while a national park is our backdrop. The great outdoors meets Hilton hospitality. That's hot. Explore all the new ways to stay at Hilton.com. Hilton for the stay.
Hello and welcome back to Off Screen then. It's time to dive straight into the highly anticipated new movie called Superman. Van, it's over to you because there isn't much more I could say about it.
Well, this was briefly known as Superman Legacy. It was when it was first announced by James Gunn, when he sort of took the position as head of DC Films, which I think was 2 or 3 years ago. It might have been 2 years ago now. It was Superman Legacy, officially. It was, at that point, going to be an adaptation or loose adaptation of the comic book, what is it? Superman, All-Star Superman, that was it. Now considered one of the seminal texts of Superman that really just charts a year of his life. In actuality, no, it's not really that. There's a bit of that energy to it, but it is very much its own thing. Right, so, no more death of Krypton. None of that nonsense. We're not going to see Pa Kent drop dead on the farm driveway. None of that. No. Superman arrives fully formed. Okay, so movie begins. Text on the screen says 300 years ago, human beings discovered the existence of metahumans. 30 years ago, an alien scientist from a dying world sent his orphaned son to Earth. 3 years ago, that son outed himself to the world as Superman. And 3 minutes ago, Superman got his ass kicked for the very first time. That is how the movie opens. And it is literally Superman dumped in the snow, bleeding out, calling for Krypto the Superdog to come and get him. And the energy I'm describing this with is very much the energy of the film. Because from there, it's patch me up, jump back into the fight, and the story doesn't stop. It is an ongoing, moving roller coaster. They do not stop for anything. So
Good.
back into the fight. Lex Luthor's behind it all, who's sort of remote controlling this baddie who's pounding the crap out of Superman. And when that's over, he drops a little baby alien in the street that's going to turn into a massive skyscraper-like kaiju. And whilst all this is going to go on, he's going to go and rob the Fortress of Solitude and steal all of Superman's secrets and doctor a recording of his dad that makes it sound like Superman was sent here to be our overlord. And basically what he does is he launches a smear campaign against Superman to turn the public against him, and there are other heroes who get into the mix, like, Superman, do we need a chat? Do we need to talk you down? Like, what the hell's this about? And I'm really only talking about the first 45 minutes.
Wow. But I mean, this is what a movie like this needs, though. It needs you to start watching it and for it to go bang straight in.
A wallop of a film. The speed with which Superman now launches off, because this is the established thing post Zack Snyder, is Superman just rockets off into the sky now. Oliver Harper calls it the sky fart. I think he calls it, because it's like Superman farts himself off into the sky. Like that's what Oliver Harper calls it. He was with us at the premiere, incidentally. So that's give or take what the plot is. However, it all also sort of loosely revolves around Krypto the Superdog. So I've got a clip for you. This is the first meeting in the movie and ever, as far as this continuity is concerned, between Superman and Lex Luthor. And Superman really only wants to discuss one particular thing.
Lex, I tried to stop him.
It's fine, Heather. Superman, we finally meet. Would you like a coffee?
Where's the dog?
Dog?
The dog, Luthor! You took the dog!
That's right, you get all of this.
Where's the dog?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
He's just a dog.
I don't know what dog you're talking about. Ugly dog in a cape.
What did you say?
It's odd that they've used a dog, because I think I would personally emotionally connect more to Lois Lane being kidnapped or something happening to her rather than a dog.
Too easy. Too easy. Also, this is written and directed by James Gunn, and if there's one thing James Gunn loves to stuff in his movies, it's cutesy animals. See also the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. Because it was very obvious when he was making that the only character he really cared about was Rocket Raccoon. He was great at writing. He's a fantastic writer. But in the case of the Guardians movies, it's very plainly obvious that his favourite is Rocket Raccoon. As evidenced really by how that trilogy ends as well. That trilogy ends in such a way that you really have no bones about it being Rocket's show. Krypto is a wonderful character who steals the entire film. Like, this little dog really steals the film. And if there is a reason I recommend everybody go and see it, other than the fact that it's a very good Superman movie, it's the best one of these we've had in 47 years, I think was my count. The best Superman movie in 47 years. I'm not kidding. The best attempt anybody has made in nearly 5 decades to put Superman on cinema screens. The best one since Superman 2. Since Christopher Reeve's second one with Terrence Stamp and the 3 Kryptonian villains. That was, in my opinion, the last genuinely, inarguably good Superman movie. Superman Returns, I mean, we don't want to talk about Superman 3 and 4 because they're both crap. Superman Returns, I've got a lot of love for, because, I was just kind of that age when it came out. I love that they were actually going back to the Donner continuity. Back then, Bryan Singer actually was quite an impressive name in a film. Obviously, history has other takes on that now, as indeed the villain of that film being Kevin Spacey kind of screams that one out as well. And then, of course, 2013, we had Man of Steel, which I think the less said about, the better, because I rewatched that and Batman vs. Superman last week. And
I'm sorry.
No, thank you. I really appreciate it. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
The interesting thing with Superman, and if you look at specifically the last 2.5 to 3 days, let's say the last 35 years of Superman in live action, I have to stress this is live action, Superman has always been made in live action form as a reflection of the era in which he lives. So Lois and Clark in the 1990s was a very rose-tinted moonlighting style, very San Francisco-like rom-com that just really happened to feature Superman. And it was wonderful for that. It's made that kind of timeless as a result. I've seen some of that recently. It's fascinating how much, outside of the visual effects, that holds up. And ropey visual effects that date badly is kind of a tradition with Superman, so who cares? You've then got Smallville, for instance, which is very much of its time. It's of the post-Dawson's Creek, of the OC era of teen drama, but now we have CGI as well. We want to capitalize on the teen dramas. We want to get the Buffy audience, and it's very much that. And then you move ahead to things like Man of Steel, which, then 2006, you had we were trying to make everything as grounded and legitimate as possible. That explains Superman Returns. 2013, by which point the multiplex is dominated by brainless blockbusters like Transformers and things like that, and you get Man of Steel, a really soulless, really boring, very grey smash 'em up of like a 2.5 hour, couple $100 million movie in which they literally do a 9/11 every 3 or 4 minutes, and you're like,
no substance
whatsoever. But again, one of those films where at the very least you can look at Man of Steel, not so much the sequels, but you can look at Man of Steel and say, I can see what you were trying for. You didn't reach it, you weren't successful at it, but I can at least see what you were trying for, which is basically we wanted to do Batman Begins with Superman, whilst neglecting the fact that Batman Begins had kind of a comedic streak, and that's why Batman Begins worked. Take that away, it wouldn't, and you get Man of Steel. Now we have this, and the way to describe this is, first of all, it's the perfect cinematic representation of what it actually is like to try and read Superman comics, which is, given how I've just described the start of the film to you, you feel like you missed the 6 issues before you started reading this. You've picked up the wrong issue. It feels like you're jumping in the film at the second act, and the film never quite recovers from it. It also narratively hinges upon a conflict between 2 fictitious nations that bear an uncanny resemblance to 2 real-world nations that happen to be having a real conflict at this moment of time. And the manner in which Superman is written to process this may actually be the most fascinating thing about the film. Put bluntly, in the same way that 28 years later is about Brexit, this is an even more explicit anti-Israel story. Literally.
Really?
Yes. And I cannot for 1 second imagine that James Gunn went to any executive at Warner Brothers, let alone David Zaslav, and I'll let the man's surname point out some hints there for you, and pitched this. There is no way anybody was clued into him doing this. It works. It's very, very good in the way that they actually depict Superman as not even being political, as simply taking the position of, I don't care about your borders. I care about human life. I want to protect people, and you're killing people. You can do whatever you want. Don't kill people. That's his position. And he, within the film, is perceived as being quite naive for this. And you're like, okay, that is interesting. That is a version of Superman that actually has serious intellectual heft put into it. The film doesn't quite live up to that outside of it, however. It is overstuffed. Certain characters are underutilized. Bizarre ones are overutilized. I'd argue Lex Luthor isn't quite played the way that they should, although Nicholas Hoult is very good in it. And because they've skipped the origin story and they've gone for this in media res, 2006 Miami Vice kind of shtick, you really feel like you don't get too firm a hold of this universe. You're in it and you're on a ride. But because you are being kicked so propulsively ahead all the time for 2 hours and 9 minutes that do not let up, it's understandable that, for instance, things like the production design don't get a time to shine. They've spent, millions on gorgeous, massive sets, the Fortress of Solitude, and the Hall of Justice, things like that. And we don't see any of it. They don't show it off. It's cursory shot, it's establishing shot inside, the camera's always moving. And that has a knock-on effect with the fight scenes and the action set pieces as well, which feel too up close. You don't get to step back at any point and savor this. You do feel at times that you are watching a Transformers movie, albeit a better shot one. Because there's a stylistic choice used with anamorphic lenses and things that really does make this look like no other movie. That has to be said. Color grading's a bit grayed out. I don't get why they keep doing that, but yeah. Having said that, Wonderful cast, like through and through, completely wonderful cast. There are a couple of cameos in there, not like Marvel level cameos, but I would argue very well judged cameos for the amount of time that they're in there and how they appear. There's a couple of neat little cameos. There are 2 things on the end credits if you're one of those people who likes to stick around for the post credits. And mostly, I really think David Corenswet is a terrific Superman. I think he really gets this. And as I'm watching him, I did find myself thinking for the very first time, I now almost understand how Brendan Fraser nearly played Superman. Because that nearly happened. In the late 90s, early 2000s, when Brett Ratner was making Superman Flyby, which wound up getting binned and replaced with Superman Returns, Brendan Fraser was going to be Superman. And I never saw how that was going to work. Now, actually seeing David Corenswet in the role, do you know what? I can see it. He's leaning into that Dudley Do-Right of the character and dealing with the frustration of the world not accepting that as enough. And I think it's a wonderful performance for a pretty wonderful take on the character. It's not a wonderful film. It's a wonderful take. It's too messy, too propulsive, and just a little bit disengaging for what you want it to be. It's a 4-star time, but a 3-star film is the way I would say. And a lot of that is, I think this needed to be slowed down. I think it needed a bit more pace, and it just needed to have its pacing looked at and either start the story from the beginning or include the origin story. You can have one or the other, but to do neither just doesn't work, I don't think.
You get FOMO, I guess, straight away as soon as you start watching it.
Pretty much that, yeah. You do feel like it's like if I give you a TV show to watch, I say, "Oh, binge this series," but I remove the first half of the episode, the first third of the episodes. You're watching a 9-episode show, and I've removed the first 3. That's how you will feel watching it. You'll not lack enjoyment. You will enjoy the hell out of it, and you'll fall in love with Krypto. But yeah, it's hard to get past that feeling of, the missing text. Also, like I say, I made the Miami Vice 2006 Michael Mann comparison. It took about 15 years for Miami Vice to get reappraised and appreciated. That's not a trick you should pull with a $200 million tentpole that has as much riding on it as Superman. Like, just in my opinion, I would not have done that. Like that, I get why you think you should. Nolan technically did it, but at least he simply did a linear story in a non-linear edit. This is not that. This is jumping in a third of the way into a linear story, and it just doesn't play right for me.
Well, still top of my list, and it sounds like you had a good time with it, even though there are a few things to sort of mention. But Superman in cinemas from today, if you want to go and check it out. Right, Human Traffic, the new jazzed up version. I don't know how you've worded it, whatever you've said.
I think I could have new coat of paint, I think. I'm not going to call it a remix because that happened, and I will explain when we get to it. But yeah, there was a remixed version.
We'll look at the new Human Traffic, even though it's the old one as well. But next, movies on Freeview this week. We'll see what you can watch from the comfort of your own home. Stay there. Hello and welcome back to Off Screen then. Before we look at Human Traffic, the reissue, let's look at movies on Freeview this week that you can dive into from the comfort of your very own home. So, Friday, tonight, when this podcast goes live, BBC 2, 11 o'clock, The Shining. Who's not going to want to watch this or at least press record on it?
I mean, how many times have you seen The Shining in your lifetime?
Oh, 6, 7, 8 times.
Yeah, I think I must have. Just on cinema screens, I think I must have seen it 6, 7 times actually. Dozens.
Wow.
Dozens on VHS, Laserdisc, DVD. I've seen it on nearly every format they've ever put it on. I think at some point it is.
I know that my parents obviously didn't know when the first time was that I watched this, and I can't tell you how old I was, but I remember the first time I watched it, I was envious of the kid on the little trike riding up and down the hotel hallways. So I must have been around that age. Yeah.
Oh my god! I mean, my favourite part of this was when they made the sequel a few years ago, Dr. Sleep. They cast Ewan McGregor as the grown-up son, And Ewan McGregor is age appropriate to play that kid at the age he would be now, which is a terrifying thought. The Shining is legitimately 3 years older than me. That's an actual thing. I am 3 years younger than this movie. It holds up, though. It's still a banger. If you've never seen it, there is a documentary called Room 237. Have you ever heard of it? You heard of this one, Tom?
No.
Right. It is a documentary about, this came out in, I want to say about 2014, 2015. Chris Wilson and I saw this, and it's a documentary all about the different metatextual readings of Kubrick's The Shining, and all of the subtext and all of the semiotics and all of the hidden little things in The Shining. One of the most fascinating and bonkers documentaries you'll ever see in your life. It's very badly made. But my God, it's one of those things where if you throw enough at the wall, eventually something sticks. That is the documentary about The Shining. That is Room 237. Saturday night, we reviewed this about 2 years ago now, because I remember your reaction when I told you the plot. So, I believe this is a premiere on Channel 4, 9 o'clock on Saturday, and it's A Man Called Otto, starring Tom Hanks. Did you ever get around to seeing this in the... It made its way to Netflix, I think.
I did watch it. I fell asleep about 20 minutes before the end, so I don't know how it ended.
That's fine, and that is kind of the beauty of streaming. You can just jump back in. If no one's familiar with the plot of A Man Called Otto, it is an English language adaptation of a Swedish novel that then also got made into a film and was called A Man Called Ove, I believe is the plot. He is a very curmudgeonly pensioner who becomes a widow. His wife passes away, and when he's then made redundant from his job, his sort of factory job that he's had for decades, he decides to end his own life. Only every single time he tries to do this, he gets interrupted by his pain in the arse new neighbours, and he stops what he's doing to basically get them to sod off, so that he could resume what he was doing. And he gets sucked into their activities, and they become like awkward, begrudging friends, him and this family. And this would be one of the most depraved movies that had ever existed, were it not for the fact that they chose Tom Hanks to star in the English language version. If this were Tommy Lee Jones, we'd all be joining him under the noose by the end of the movie. If it were Tommy Lee Jones or Paul Giamatti or J.K. Simmons or someone like that, like, they would never have sold this movie to English-speaking audiences. But Tom Hanks, thank God, has just the right amount of warmth and charm and lovability that he manages to make even this really depraved plot kind of work. It's nowhere near as messed up as it sounds. It's a very sweet, very heartfelt film. Like I say, 9 o'clock Saturday night, tomorrow night, on Channel 4, A Man Called Otto. Do check it out. I think it's a really lovely little film. I very much like the Swedish version as well, but there's a version that exists in my head in which J.K. Simmons plays this role.
Oh dear.
And it's just one of the nastiest things you've ever seen.
Don't think about it too much.
Be like, I don't know how to describe it. Be like, we're about the Whiplash version of this. Sunday. Now, I have to believe that I know you're not a big Star Trek guy, but I have to believe that you saw this at some point when you were a kid. On Great TV, a channel I didn't know existed, 7:45 on Sunday nights, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan is on. Did you have the experience?
I have seen it.
Kid? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you have the big where you had the whole family round watching it in front of the TV when you were a kid?
I think I just watched it with my dad, actually, from memory.
I could never get my dad to watch a single Star Trek, but nevertheless, he claimed to be the expert. But Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, generally held to be the high watermark of all Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much everyone kind of universally agrees this is the gold standard of Star Trek movies. The weirdest thing as well is that it's made by someone who has no interest in Star Trek and decided to just make a submarine movie. So... happy accident, I guess. Although, incidentally, I will challenge Star Trek First Contact as being every bit as good as Wrath of Khan. Not that hot a take, really. But yeah, William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, DeForest Kelley, the gang are all back in this one. This is the one that brings back, of course, Khan Noonien Singh from the 1967 episode, I think, Space Seed. because there's the sort of continuity gaffe in there where he seems to recognize Chekhov, despite the fact that Chekhov wasn't in the show back then. They only had Chekhov later on the series, and Khan was much earlier. Last week, we talked about Star Trek Into Darkness, and the character that Benedict Cumberbatch was playing, the, quote, mysterious character, who, of course, now, it's a week later, we'll just say it, who, of course, was Khan, was an alternate version of this character. So if you saw that one, you're wondering what the hell all that was about, now you can watch this one and find out. And you can find out why old Leonard Nimoy was just so terrified of him in that one you saw last week. So very worth a watch, I think. Have you seen it back as an adult, number 2?
No, I haven't. I've only watched it that once.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I'm so into it. Khan, I'm mocking the great intelligence. I love that one. Also, William Shatner's scream, Khan! One of the all-time screams in any movie.
Yeah, this has reminded me I need to watch it again, really, to be fair.
It's about I don't believe in the no-win scenario. That's one I My boyhood need to be Captain Kirk very much was cemented by this movie. I didn't care about the series. It was Wrath of Khan. Monday night.
I can well imagine.
Monday night, and if you've not seen this one, I cannot recommend heartily enough that you don't even... I wouldn't actually say you even need to exclude the children from this, but it is just a nice couples watch. Monday night, 7 o'clock, film 4, Dog with Channing Tatum. We reviewed this during the pandemic, I believe, tail end of the pandemic. He's the ex-American serviceman who is tasked with transporting his dead colleague's dog to his funeral. Like, they're shipped back stateside, and he has to transport this bomb disposal dog, I think he is, across, like on a road trip across the country to his fallen comrade's funeral. And it's very much Turner and Hooch beyond that, albeit with a wonderful sequence involving Kevin Nash and a bizarre tribute to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But you know what? It's a wonderfully charming film. I'm amazed, actually. I'm shocked that you can show it at 7 p.m. because there are moments in it. I think it was a 12 when it hit cinemas. There are moments in it that I thought, this isn't a 12? Okay, sure, why not? But the dog will absolutely Turner and Hooch your partner and children, I promise.
It's film 4 as well, so they can get away with stuff like that, I think, can't they? When it's a little bit, you know. Yeah. Tuesday, BBC 2, 11 o'clock, Manhunter. Again, one I haven't seen.
Have you not seen Manhunter? Right. Have you ever seen Red Dragon?
No.
So Red Dragon, if you're not aware, is the novel and movie adaptation that they are. I think the movie was 2002, directed by Brett Ratner. The novel was, I think it was late 70s, early 80s, written by Thomas Harris, who of course wrote Silence of the Lambs, and Hannibal as well, and later on Hannibal Rising. This is... It was originally the first Hannibal Lecter story, and then Hannibal Rising got made later on as the origin story. But this is the first film adaptation of it. It wasn't made as Red Dragon, it was made as Manhunter by my boy Michael Mann. In the mid-80s, it's all synth-powered, it's all neon-drenched. It stars William Peterson, Gil Grissom from CSI, as Will Graham, the serial killer profiler, who, whilst hunting for the Red Dragon killer of the title, must turn to the incarcerated psychologist Hannibal Lecter for his expertise. Hannibal Lecter, in this version, is not played by Anthony Hopkins, however. He's played by Brian Cox from Succession. The dad from Succession was the first Hannibal Lecter. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, there's your pub trivia question. If anyone asks,
didn't know that.
If there's ever a pub quiz, and one of the questions is who's the first actor to play Hannibal Lecter, the answer is not Anthony Hopkins. It is Brian Cox, the one who's not the astrologer. So yeah, but amazing.
Yeah, that would be really weird.
Also, incredible use of Iron Butterfly's In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida in this movie as well. Like, really tremendous combination of that song and scene of just this killer trying to hunt him through a house while this song is playing on the vinyl. Like, phenomenally done. Like, this is a banger. If you've never seen Manhunter, absolutely watch this. It has no resemblance whatsoever to the David Fincher series on Netflix. But I think that's Mindhunter, isn't it? But yeah, check this out. Seriously, you will love it, Adam.
Excellent. All right. Well, Horror Channel Wednesday, 9:00, Entrapment. I have seen that, but I can't really remember it.
Do you know, I'm reasonably sure you remember Catherine Zeta-Jones in head to toe in a leather catsuit. There's not a chance.
I have seen it.
There is not a chance that your brain has expunged that image. I refuse to...
No, that image is still there. I just don't know what I did with it.
I know what you did with it. Probably the same thing Sean Connery does in the movie. So, this is the 1999 effort that teamed up Zeta-Jones with Sean Connery. This was her attempt to follow up the breakout turn in Mask of Zorro the year before. So she did Mask of Zorro, then got this, and this was, okay, this is going to be her cat burglar role. So excellent choice to follow up with. He is the legendary, thief who teams up with the young, plucky upstart who's Zeta-Jones, and they set off to rob, I think it's that really unique office building in Indonesia, I think it is, like some famous skyscraper landmark in Indonesia they have to rob. The one that's got like two towers with a bridge between it. You'll know. Like,
I know.
Towers with they're trying to rob that. I forget what they're even robbing it for, but yeah, and Will Patton, I believe, is on the trail of them as well. This is really good, and actually, it's held up quite well. Also, bonus point putting my boy Ving Rhames in any movie ever, because what's a movie without Ving Rhames? Half a movie, I would argue.
Well, that's on Horror Channel on Wednesday at 9:00, Entrapment. Finally, Thursday, great action, 9:00, Red Dawn. Again, one I haven't seen.
Oh, man! Oh, I had this down as being one of your, like, when you were 12 classics kind of thing. So this is the movie written by John Milius, or Milius, however you say it, legendarily a bit of a maniac. I think he wrote and directed this. Stars Patrick Swayze, Charlie Sheen's in there, C. Thomas Howell, Ali Sheedy in there. The mum from Back to the Future is in there as well, Leah Thompson. This got remade in the late aughts, early 2010s, and then had to be altered because Hollywood couldn't risk offending China. So, in the original version of this, the USA is invaded by Russia. In the remake, it's invaded by North Korea. And it was China, and then they literally digitally changed all the flags to North Korea. That was the whole thing, because they figured, like, oh, it's easy. We can get away with offending North Korea. Who cares? And that's genuinely how they went about it. And it's about the teenagers who are basically off having a camping trip when this happens, and basically just put themselves away in the woods, arm up on supplies, and form their own little guerrilla army to take down foreign invaders. And of course, they call themselves Wolverines after their high school, I think it's the high school wrestling team, high school football team. But yeah, this one is worth watching. Like I say, Swayze is the lead in this one. He was replaced by Chris Hemsworth in the remake. So the remake is nowhere near as good, but it's still not bad. But I do recommend checking this out. It's wonderfully violent, despite the fact that it's rated quite young as well. So do check this out.
Right, there you go. Those are all the movies you can watch from the comfort of your own home. We've got one left to talk about that you can go to the cinema to see, and that is the spruced up version of Human Traffic. We're going to talk about that next. Stay there.
With a major selection of the looks your kiddos love starting at just $4 in the Walmart app, a new school year means a stylish new them. Who knew? Find skater skirts and Crocs that say, I'm casual but cool. Sparkly sneakers that say, it's my classroom, you're just learning in it. And preppy polos that say, I'm the teacher's pet, even if they're mommy's menace at home. Find their favorite styles starting at just $4 in the app. The Walmart you thought you knew is now new.
Member Week is here at Lowe's. Don't miss your chance to get up to 40% off hundreds of items like paint, faucets, vanities, doors, and more. Shop our exclusive deals happening in-store and online now through July 18th. Not a member? Join My Lowe's Pro Rewards for free today and get ready to save more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
Hello and welcome back for one last ride on Offscreen this week. So we're going to dive into a movie that isn't a new movie at all. It's been out for quite a long time, but it has been digitally remade, and we're talking about Human Traffic. We have got a slight story to tell on this, and that is that Van gave me a copy of this to watch, which I did. I thought, I'll watch this before we record the podcast. And so I put it on, I think it was Wednesday night. And my God, I could not hear what they were saying. I had to turn the TV up so loud that my next door neighbour banged on the wall, and I was like, oh, I better turn it down. But then I couldn't hear what they were saying. So I messaged Van and I said, mate, honestly, what copy have you given me? I can't hear what they're saying. And you said...
It's kind of meant to be that way. It's a deliberate stylistic choice. So... I'll give you the plot first, because it kind of explains a lot about this. So, Human Traffic to the Uninitiated is a 1999 film that has now been given the full 4K remaster, cleaned up. Audio's been cleaned up as well on it. Stars, it's an ensemble film, but largely centers around John Sims' character of Jip. And he is sort of, he's one of a group of sort of young 20-somethings. They're sort of like around the age where they probably could have graduated uni or they should be at uni, around that kind of time. Basically working McJobs in Cardiff and living for the weekend. You know, as you do, you work in Sports Direct, 9 to 5, 10 till 6 kind of thing, Monday to Friday. But as soon as 6 p.m. Friday comes around, they're all dropping pills, they're pre-gaming up, and they're hitting the rave scene. Because remember, this was 1999. And it's a series of stories and character arcs, all within this social circle, over the course of one wild night in Cardiff in 1999. Have a listen, this is from the remastered trailer.
The weekend has landed. All that exists now is clubs, drugs, pubs, and parties. I'm going to Never Neverland with my chosen family, man.
Let's go!
Anything could happen. This could be the best night of my life. Yes!
You lucky people.
And R2-D2. When he's... Remember that? And, you know what?
Well, I could make out what they were saying, so that's a winner for me.
Yeah, it has to be said. Now, in the original edit of this, it's worth noting that, because I had forgotten that this was a thing, obviously, until I watched it, and I think you were going to watch it a couple hours later, I think was the idea. So, I got myself suitably medicated and relaxed. I sat myself in the middle of my couch, and I don't know if you've never been in my place. So, if you sit in the middle of my couch, because of the distance, the way I have spaced the room out, the size and position of the TV and the distance from the sofa music, if you sit smack in the middle of my couch, you can have the IMAX experience at home. There is no other field of vision. There's nothing else in your field of vision. So I drew the curtains, I had the window open, obviously, because we're roasting it, sat back, put this on, and I had the same exact thing that you had. Why can't I hear this very well? And then I realized when they had made this, there was a stylistic choice made to play all incidental music mixed in such a way that it simulated what it was like to have your friend shouting, a conversation to you in a club. That's how the movie works. It's a little clearer in the trailer, but notice they've used dialogue from when they're in the pub or when they're in the car, the quieter sequences. But if there's ever incidental music, they are pulling that trick. Now, I loved it. I very much got swept away in this. I was kind of surprised watching it back in 2025, actually, how dark a film it was as regards certain subjects it dealt with, the inclusion of certain little elements. Jip's mum, for instance, being a sex worker, one of the characters being, sexually harassed at work, to be honest, bordering on outright assault. There is a visual gag about capitalism that I genuinely can't believe they took as far as they did in this film. It involves John Sim being, let's just say, defiled by his employer, politely, whilst a £20 note is secured over his mouth. Like, it's not a very subtle film. at all in terms of what it does. It's very much still got the charm it always has, though. And I think I might have actually enjoyed it more this time than I did. Because this was just a movie that we all loved in the early 2000s, when it hit DVD. It was a film that, it was a seminal text. Someone always had it on, like, it was on in the other room at a party or something, or, you'd go around your mate's place, it just happened to be on the background or something like. It was very much one of those films that, when you walked in the middle of it, it was like, oh, I love this movie. Let's watch the rest. Go on. It was one of those. It was also the first film role for Danny Dyer. This was his acting debut.
Was it? I didn't know that.
He's very young in this. Although, watching it back now, the weirdest thing happens where you watch it, you're like, I can absolutely see why Danny Dyer had a career. Because you wouldn't watch this performance and think anything other than, yeah, this cheeky little chappie's got some potential. Yeah. I mean, none of us could have foreseen it going the way that it did, to be absolutely fair. None of us could have ever seen him becoming the Danny Dyer that we know now. This, data are not, moron. But, in his sort of late teens cheeky chappie era, you can see, actually, there's so much charisma there. I can see why you were given all the shots that you would. I mean, I think it's 8 years, in my opinion, before he gets a role. Sorry, 7 years before he gets a role anywhere near as good as this again, and that's in the movie Severance from 2006. But yeah, beyond that, though, really enjoyable ensemble cast. John Sim in I say, arguably the lead. Lorraine Pilkington. Sean Parks as well. Now, Sean Parks I really like, he does this great sequence where he's peddling vinyl to hipsters, poser types who just don't know any better. And there's the name of a band that he comes out with, the name of a hip hop act that he says. And first of all, I can't say the name of that act to any other human being, let alone on a recorded format. But the way in which he says it, the way his mouth just curls through saying it, is one of my favourite things in any movie of 1999. It forms a great little sort of 3-film box set with the likes of Trainspotting and Doug Liman's Go, as well, as sort of exploring the drug and music scenes simultaneously, whilst giving you an ensemble story about different subplots and different character arcs. I think it could be compared to those two as well. And as regards when we talk about the remix thing, there was an attempt in 2002 on DVD to use modern visual effects to clean up some of the soundtracks, to swap out some of the songs, to remove some scenes, to install some deleted scenes, and it was called Human Traffic Remixed. It was put together by the producer of the film, who did this without the input of writer-director Justin Kerrigan, who has kind of disowned the project ever since. Even John Sim refused to have anything to do with it. And so that's kind of the story there. This is not that. This is literally the original film cleaned up. If it's 99 minutes long, it's the proper version. If it's 92, 93 minutes long, it's remixed. Do not watch it. That's the rule of thumb on this. If you've never seen it, though, I wholeheartedly recommend that you see this. It's such a wonderful crystallization of a certain time and place and culture that I was too young for this culture. Like, I didn't really get to experience it in the way these characters do. You probably got way more of an insight into that than I did, because you got a couple of years on me, and those couple of years in 1999 probably made a lot of difference. I'm sure. I'm going to bet you were about 19 or 20, probably. So you probably experienced a lot. Yeah, you probably experienced a lot more of this movie than I did.
I was I was square and straight-laced. I went to school with a briefcase van, so I didn't hang around with any of these kind of people.
Oh my God, where did it all go wrong? But do watch this. It's a very sharp, very funny film that I think is at its best when not just exploring rave culture and drug culture of its era, but also in just exploring the comedy and the emotional weight of the characters therein. There's a great sequence, for instance, involving John Sim running into Andrew Lincoln from Walking Dead and Teachers, and they're not friends. They're like people who have to make awkward small talk, but we see it without the subtext. So they literally say the thing out loud. They say the quiet part out loud because we're seeing like it, from inside their heads. Brilliantly done scene. wonderfully done scene, and something I think about during way too many social encounters. I will be honest. So I would say give this another go, knowing what you know now about the sound mix. Do give it another try. Maybe do it in the middle of the day when the neighbours are out.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But there's no substitute for Human Traffic. And especially if you are someone that really loved Trainspotting and would like something, a crunchier rave equivalent to that. Except no substitute. This is it.
Right, well, Human Traffic is in cinemas again from today, if you want to, from Wednesday.
No, this is actually a limited release. This is Wednesday, the 16th of July. It's very specifically for one day.
Ah, right, okay. So just this next Wednesday coming up. So there you go. You only get it for one day. Right, very quickly then, Van, what have we got to look forward to next week?
Well, next week's a bit of a weird one because the biggie next week is I Know What You Did Last Summer. Now, time of recording, I don't know about any screenings happening for this. There is also the latest attempt to make a film series out of the Smurfs next week. However, it is being distributed by Paramount, so it may as well not exist, if we're being honest.
You ain't getting anywhere near that film
I'm
then,
not
Van.
getting anywhere near it. You called someone the C word one time, and 9 years later, you're still paying for it. I'm not holding a grudge. No, I haven't even held a grudge against my own father for that long. Jesus. What else we got next week? Friendship with Paul Rudd. And who's the guy? Oh, God. Who's the guy in the hot dog costume from the Netflix comedy sketch show? Tim something. Oh, it'll come to me.
I have no idea.
It's supposedly it's an indie comedy that actually did garner quite a few fans when it opened in the US a couple of months ago. So that's Friendship, which is out next week. I think is an A24 movie as well. So I'm looking forward to that. But we shall see. If there's no screening for I Know What You Did Last Summer and we're not seeing Smurfs anyway, there's really no point doing a show. So TBC on that one.
We will see. Find out if we're there next week or not, and you'll know the answer to those questions. But yeah, that is all we have time for this week on Off Screen. Hopefully, we will be back next week. Until then, I've been Adam Ball.
I've been Van Connor. Keep it cinematic, and we shall return.